Thank you. If every news outlet in Colorado and beyond takes Kyle up on his challenge, can we make sure he gets the Nobel Prize for local TV reporting, if that's a thing? Like Sam said, I teach journalism at Colorado College, and for the past few years, I've been teaching a class called The Future and Sustainability of Local News. For that class, students sought to find out where Coloradans, for the first time, sought to find out where Coloradans were getting their local news and information in all 64 counties. They did this through extensive interviews, and what they found is that people are getting their news and information across Colorado in different ways, in places we might not expect. We are fractured and fragmented local news and information landscape in Colorado includes Facebook groups that have more members in them than the populations of the cities and towns that they serve, massive Instagram accounts with hundreds of thousands of followers. If you're not following I-70 things on Instagram and you live in Colorado, you're going to thank me after this. Ask your neighbors how many of them get their local scoop from Nextdoor. It might scare you. I can tell you that I one time received the most valuable real-time information about one of our tragic mass shootings from a YouTube live streamer who at the time was telling his tens of thousands of followers, watching it in real time, quote, "Who says I'm not a journalist?" And that brings me to a sentiment that one Colorado reporter recently shared on social media. He said, quote, "Some journalists think we're the public square. We're not. We're just another voice hollering within it." And indeed, we seem to have reached something of a cacophony state. The public square is weird. It's sometimes polluted, but also promising, as we're probably going to learn from folks in this room. One development that we've seen in Colorado that I expect to continue in the future is, and this is particularly in places where newspapers are retrenching, is the rise of the one-person newsroom. Typically, this is somebody who was laid off or quit from a local newspaper and now does public service journalism, accountability, watchdog work on local government for a niche publication, a Substack newsletter, their own website, and they're trying to get funding and sustainability directly from their readers or maybe trying to pull down grants as a nonprofit. It's happening across the country, and in Colorado, we see this model with Boulder Beat, the Northern Colorado Optimist. We have one that just popped up recently called the Greeley Gadfly. There is another one that just popped up a few months ago in Steamboat Springs called the Valley Bugle. That's just to name a few. There's other innovators doing interesting and different things in southeast Colorado and on the western slope. We should probably accept, though, that the number of legacy and traditional journalism jobs that we've lost over the past several years that we often hear about might not be coming back, and at least not in the ways in which or the forms and ways they previously existed. The ones that emerge over the next 5 years are likely to look different. Might they be more in digital development or audience engagement, curation, artificial intelligence? Might they be in the metaverse or on the blockchain? Could they be fact checkers cleaning up misinformation on Nextdoor and funded by sources we're not even maybe thinking about right now, including perhaps publicly funded sources? If I had all the answers to the journalism jobs of the future, I'd have to take back your Nobel Prize, sir. But I am inspired by some of the people in the organizations who are thinking about this stuff, some of the folks who are in this room, and I'll read you just a few. Consider the League of Women Voters and their Observer Corps. They're training people to attend underreported public meetings and then publish the results. Consider funders who support efforts like the Tiny News Collective. They help those one-person newsrooms that I'm talking about become more sustainable. And then some news organizations themselves. The Sentinel Colorado is pioneering an interesting community funding model that takes inspiration from, of all things, the Green Bay Packers football team. There are BIPOC-serving outlets like Denver Urban Spectrum, Sol de Valle, which are supported by efforts like NewsPack, a platform helping local newsrooms on the tech side. Colorado Media Project's own News Colorado Needs initiative. Really, it's a year-end fundraising event that really over the years pushed newsrooms or people in newsrooms to think about their roles differently as community ambassadors for their outlets and had them doing it in new and unfamiliar ways. So those and others involved in such efforts, I think, understand that a more collaborative and networked space for reliable civic information likely means playing these new roles and will ensure a healthier local news and information ecosystem today and 5 years in the future.